The world is different. There used to be a time when the United States government, they would pretend that it was about democracy, that it was about freedom. They would go in and do covert operations in order to do military coups and regime change. But this time around, Trump was like, hey, we want the leader, we want the oil, and we're going to do it because we can. The world has changed. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kim, joined by my co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
What's up? What's up? Welcome, my friends, to 2026. It's the year of takeovers, regime changes, and the game of global risk. That's what we're playing, my friends. Welcome to the Matt Kim Podcast. Stroke the like button gently as you take your seats and get ready for a good show. Welcome, welcome.
Let us know where in the world you are from. Definitely check in SARS. It is a thing that everyone is still doing all over the internet. Checking in SARS. I see it on our boy James Lee's comment section.
Yeah, we're still doing it.
Appreciate you guys. Definitely spread it everywhere.
Let everybody know the SARS can never be diminished.
So we were going to do an episode on Venezuela over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of made a conscious decision and choice to not do it right away.
I think that actually is playing to our favor, don't you think?
Yeah, we were going to do the reaction because everyone was talking about it. But we're like, maybe it's a good opportunity to take a few days, see how this thing really shakes up. And then we can give a more balanced, nuanced, maybe more knowledgeable take on the matter.
Yeah, because more information always trickles out.
Correct.
And actually, if I were to take from the pattern of our previous episode, is that with the Somali exploit, right, the game exploit that is happening right now with the Somalians, is that we decided similarly not to jump on the topic, to take 3 days and then realize it was one giant psyop.
Yes.
And so I kind of like this Matt Kim model of the shitstorm happens. Wait 3 days, friends. You'll have Matt Kim's opinion and a very data-informed ideas.
Well, can I just address something real quickly? Which is every time we put out a video or a take that is contrary to what the mainstream media or mainstream kind of Con Inc. media is telling people, people lose their shit. Because even with the Somali PSYOP episode, within the first hour, we had a bunch of people unsubscribe from us.
Yes.
And it's like, really?
Why so mad? Like,
They
why so
can't
angry?
take the fact that they believe something so hard and they're like, this Nick Shirley guy is the savior and it's organic and we the people have risen up. And they're always like, no, it was fake and gay. And they're like, don't you dare question us because we know better, because we believe the propaganda.
Exactly.
Don't you dare try to break our cognitive dissonance.
And
they don't want to. They don't want to even think about the possibility that what they believe is not true.
And I'm not going to put words in your mouth, Matt, but I'm sad to see them go. Like, some other people might be like, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, by SAR. But I'm sad that they do leave because I don't think we're pretty damn objective. Like, we try to bring as much data and information into we're not a James Lee. That's not our point, right? But we bring in perspectives from both sides. And frankly, as I said in our last episode, if our opinions are the same as the mainstream media, we're probably the bad guys.
True.
Right?
And if our opinions could be exactly what you've already been told or believe, then why even waste your time listening to us? Which is why people said, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Maybe that's it too. Maybe they're just like, yeah, like we already heard this, Matt. Like, get over it. Move on,
Yeah, I mean, we've experienced this when I said, dude, I don't know if that border crisis was as really big of a crisis.
Oh,
and
people were like, oh,
people lost their shit.
Sacrilege.
When we first talking about the war in Israel and Gaza, we had people like, dude, they're our greatest ally. How can you not side with them? They're terrorists and they're beheading babies. And we're like, no, I don't think that's true.
First time we questioned Trump after his inauguration and what the hell he's doing, people are like, oh, don't question Orange Man. Good.
Over and over and over again. And over time, our hit rate on these topics is really high. I put out a tweet, I said,
pretty good, actually.
Our hit rate on topics and takes on these types of issues, we're at like 80%.
You're probably at 80. I'm probably at 69.
Nice. Which is, in the world of political commentary, S tier.
Not bad. Yeah.
Most people are 50-50 at best.
Bro, 50-50 is you're either right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
We're definitely in that 70 to 80 range.
Yeah, it's not that we take definitive positions on everything. It's the fact that we know that it's actually implausible to do so. Do you know 100% of the facts of anything, Matthew?
No. I mean, your takes can never be 100% accurate because you're only as good as the data you input. And because we are all working with a flawed data set, it is impossible to be right all the time.
Right.
That's not our fault. That's just the information we have access to. And that's for everybody.
And we're lucky and fortunate that we have such a great community who sends us clips, sends us details, sends us stuff that's off the beaten path. And so we have a broader purview or view or overview of what's going on. Does that mean that we have all the right answers? No. Are we a Candace Owens trying to reach for every single straw that's potentially out there? No. Are we a James Lee? No. So if I were to put us in the spectrum of stuff, we're kind of between a Candace and a James, right? We're kind of in the middle. Is that fair?
I think it's fair. And for those that have made it back, welcome. Thank you.
Yes, the water's warm, SARS.
When I saw the news on Saturday about Trump and the United States bombing Venezuela and going in there and taking their leader and coming back out, I was like, oh, fuck.
That was your first reaction. Oh, fuck.
Because
not again. Here we go again.
Well, we've talked about this many times on this pod. We are both very anti-war.
Bro, say less.
No one wakes up in the morning and goes, damn, I really hope we go to war today. That's not a thing. And I want to say most of the people that supported Trump believed that to be true also. This was kind of his number one selling point, is that you may not like a lot of things he says or does or how he handles things, but one thing we can all agree on is that he's not going to bring us into more war.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
And then you see the aftermath this Saturday, and I'm thinking, oh, great. This seems like a regime change, not forever war.
Yeah.
And I was really upset. And I spent all weekend in Instagram and Twitter, in the comment section, fighting people.
You know, Matt is riled up when his Instagram Reels suddenly goes viral, which he did over the weekend for sure.
Just fighting everyone. You're an idiot. You don't know anything.
I rarely load up Instagram, but when I do, there's never a Matt Kim Reel. But when there is a Matt Kim Reel, then there's 20 of them.
I was pissed off because I don't want to get drawn out into another never-ending war. And the way that these things typically have worked historically is that the United States goes in, does some sort of regime change, wants the resources. In order to get the resources, you have to bring in the private company. Because the private company, like an oil company, is there, now you have to bring in government contractors to work for the oil companies. And then because you have your Americans there, you need to bring the American military in order to support the government contractors that are there. And because now you have American military there, now you have to set up a base there. And then you have the local population pissed off that you're building a base and taking the resources. So they start rebelling and they start pushing back. So now you have to go after the terrorists because they are terrorists. They're coming after the United States. Now you have to double down on the troops. And then 15 years later, we spent $2 trillion and we're still involved. This is historically what has happened over every single engagement. So when I saw that we went into Venezuela, I was like, fuck, not again.
Matthew, you clearly, you clearly lack creativity. The entire point of a regime change like this, like we saw in Afghanistan, like we've seen in all the other nations that we've been involved with in the past, that the value is that the locals get McDonald's and education on trans rights. That's what's most important. Because the Venezuelans, you have not been freed and liberated from the fact that you need trans rights.
Yes.
You need.
Necessary for survival.
It must have. And not only that, you need a Walmart and a McDonald's. Bro, we're upgrading you. It is time to be assimilated,
And
Matthew.
you need high interest credit cards, because apparently they don't do high interest credit cards, and we need to help bring you freedom and upward mobility. Here are some more credit cards.
Yes. So that is what America spreading democracy is. It's OnlyFans, credit. Yeah, I think that's about it. OnlyFans and credit. The other side of credit, obviously, is debt, but we don't talk about the debt slavery that we put people under. Why would we talk about that? So anyway, Matt, can you go over the facts that we know? Trump invaded, blew up, killed some people, stole the president and his wife. That's the fact. Them's the facts.
Yes.
The theories around this event is to what end? Is it oil? Is it electricity? Is it shipping routes? Is it trade routes? Is it silver? Is it Bitcoin? Is it... Matt, who's the winner?
Well, before, and I led with this, before when the United States used to go into countries, you would do these covert operations and do a regime change, and you would do it under the premise of democracy, of freedom, of freeing the population, whatever the pretense was.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of drama behind it. This time around, he's like, we're going in because we can.
Yes, a show of force, American power in the West, in the West.
And you would think that seems very imperialistic, because we were operating under this kind of republic framework of mindset, right? We're in the republic era where our public opinion actually matters. That if we find corruption and we expose it, that it actually can make a difference. What this has shown us is that actually that stuff doesn't matter.
Yes, and you could actually look at it as a shade of gray of the executive power that we've seen Trump already exacting anyway.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a shade of gray. I think it's complete. I think we are fully in a new era of the world, and we don't get to choose the era in which we live. Right? Some people grow up in a revolutionary period.
Yes.
Some people grow up in a mercantile kind of commerce growth period. Some people grow up in an industrialized period. Right? Some people grow up in the republic period, where we think our voices matter and little people like public opinion matters.
Or the inflation and in the down cycle.
And some people grow up in a imperialist or late empire era.
Okay, fair enough.
We don't choose this about our lives.
So are you saying is that the liberals in 2015 and 14, when they were yelling that Trump was going to become the end of the world, the dictator of all dictators, and we saw the Karenocracy begin, screaming on the ground, no! Right? Right? Were the liberals of that time? Were they soothsayers and fortune? Did they see is this the future?
And well,
that they saw it.
And that's something I think about, right? Like, was it the world and society that we were going into a new era regardless, or did that happen because of Trump? And I actually think we were going to move on to the next chapter of society regardless of who's in charge.
100%.
It just happens that Trump's in charge right now.
Fair enough. Yes.
If it had been a third term of Obama, he would be doing probably the same exact thing. Because now you have information, now you have data, now you have technology, now you have AI. You have all these tools at your fingertips. Whoever is in charge right now would have done very similar actions and go into this era. I don't think we actually chose that. I don't think we vote our way out of this.
And the reason is because eras, fortunately, span decades of time.
Correct.
And because of that length of time, the ability to control the details of it are very hard. However, some would say that the larger architects of this flat plane that we live on work in centuries, not decades or years. And so for them, the great architects, the ones that are machining the narrative that we watch and enjoy on our televisions, they're actually quite attuned to this timeline, and they are working the numbers behind the scenes. So there's a push-pull there. It's like, do we let me put it this way. You and I do not choose the era in which we live because we are not influential nor powerful. However, a case can be made that the powers that be, the handlers and the ones that are holding the strings, they have the ability to manipulate, or let's just say guide the narrative. Right? Because I think you and I have agreed in podcasts past that the oligarchy, which is truly what rules the world, it's the rich, right, the powerful, the industrious, they can't direct all the details of what's going on in the play, in the game. But what they can do is they can force a particular element to, let's just say, they can force means and ways so that there's an increased chance that a fire starter or an event that they would like to have happen happens. I think we've agreed that that's probably how the puppeteers of the world work, is that they cannot control all the minutia, but they can force their hands in ways that the probabilities increase in substantial ways.
Guide the direction.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. And so, is Trump part of that ilk? Is Trump in league with the people who machine and create the narratives of today? Or is he just a victim of this current era and he is responding as such?
I think going into this new era, he just wants to do what he wants to do.
Well, he's chosen to become a Jew, which was shadow banned. We saw that. He's the most pro-Israeli president we've ever had. Would it be odd for me to create a hypothesis or theory, Matt, that Israel might have something to do with this Venezuela regime change? Would it be off base for me to hypothesize such a thing?
I know why people would think that, because there's a lot of evidence to support that.
Fair enough.
That this is very beneficial to the central banking system in which Venezuela was adamantly against.
Yes. One of the very few countries yet still that are outside of that banking cartel, for sure.
On the other side, there are people in Venezuela going, well, dude, Maduro, like, not the best guy. He actually was really hard on us, restricted us, made dissenters disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe he's just a different flavor of Bukele.
Yeah.
Bukele's just good looking.
It's true.
He's got the swagger.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, Maduro, I don't know anything, Matt. So clearly, don't listen to anything I say. But here's what I think I know.
Yeah.
Is that Maduro was just an ugly version of what Bukele was supposed to. Because Bukele went hardcore. He said, fuck rights. We think you're a terrorista? Guess what, homie? You're hanging out with your cholos, right? In the maximum prison, right? He went hardcore. And the citizens said, yes, thank you for cleaning up the streets. Now, I don't know anything, but from what I understand, Maduro was kind of similar, trying to go hardcore, trying to conserve Venezuelan culture, trying to push out, the cartels. Maybe he just didn't have the backing and the good looks that Bukele has. I might be off frame here, but that's my ignorant take on this, is that he just didn't succeed because he didn't have the right backing and the right, let's just say, financial support and international support that he needed and the good looks to make it happen.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to judge world leaders when your country is sanctioned because you don't really know what they could or could not have done.
Fair enough. They were stranglehold.
If you have so many restrictions put on you by the rest of the world, then you never got to see what potentially their model or their way of doing things could have done. So it's hard to judge that. And if you're Venezuelan and maybe you are under this kind of what you felt like a very authoritarian regime, I can understand why you're upset. But there are a lot of Americans that are really upset at Trump. So I don't know. It's really hard for us not being there to know the difference.
Well, so I have a friend who is in the racing world, and I asked her, because she's Venezuelan, and I just asked her, I said, what are your thoughts? I just texted her. She's on a WeChat that we're part of the racing group. I just said, what are your thoughts? I'm just curious. And she gave the response that she usually gives around it. She's like, that country until they have a spine and actually have their own leadership, they're going to essentially continue to be cucked by international interests. And if we take the data and the information that we're receiving en masse around Venezuela, I would say that she's being Venezuelan, grew up there and moved out here and now has a great racing career with her son and her family. I think I believe her more than other people in the news, is that she sees the meta issue, is that the leadership is cucked by international interests. And until they remove themselves from that, she kind of is like, don't give a fuck, because they're going to just keep fucking themselves. Does that make sense? So that's the word on the street from someone who's benefited from America greatly, who's in motorsports, which is
expensive sport.
So she's on that. Understand the picture, right? She's on that. She's 50, 55, something like this. So she's done her time, but she saw the old world Venezuela, and she's benefited from marrying into a rich family here, which is not a bad thing, and has raised 2 great boys. So great family, but I would believe her over everybody else. She's kind of in that mode of just like, they're going to continue to cuck themselves. Well, fuck them.
Because there is a huge population of the Hispanic population within America, say Miami, which are extremely Cuban, a lot of Venezuelans there too, that are like, no, this is a great thing. We are glad Maduro's gone. But a lot of them left Venezuela to come here. And then you try to figure out what's going on in Venezuela, and you get a lot of people saying, oh no, we want Maduro back because, the U.S., you're not allowed to come here and just take our leader. Whether or not he's a good guy or not, that's for us to decide, not for you to decide. So, fair point, right? Sovereignty matters, and you guys violated our sovereignty.
So let's just sit on that. I want to get your yes, no, because it really is binary, in my opinion. Do you agree, yes or no, that America can just go in and nab another country's leader?
1 week ago, no. Now, it's just a reality we live in. We have shifted from the Republic era
do you see?
to a post-empire era.
Okay. So you didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Which is yes or no. So now, currently, we live in a reality where clearly this is happening. But we did live in this reality back in the 60s and 70s with CIA when we were doing regime changes over in fucking...
Yeah, but again, they used the CIA as a premise and they pretended like it was for other things.
Fair enough.
This time, he just went and said, we're taking him and eat a dick. We're doing it. That's it.
Not wrong.
That's a very different shift and fundamental shift in how they do these things.
I would have loved to have been in that situation because they get live feeds and shit.
Yeah, and they're like, well, do you see the pictures of when they were doing it? They have like Twitter on the background. Like, these guys are getting the reaction from Twitter. Like, oh no, they didn't like his outfit. Have him change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do it. Change it again. Okay, it's really popular. Oh, Nike tech suit, that's the one.
Dude,
post that picture.
It almost is like they're directing a live show.
Yeah.
Like a Days of Our Lives production.
Well, this is the most interesting thing about all of this is that, so Trump goes in and takes a world leader and clearly breaks what one would consider international law. You just can't go in and take someone. Officially, you cannot.
So let me just nail you to the wall.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Matt Kim's opinion. Is it right or wrong for America, yes or no, to go into another country and just nab their leader?
So I think it's wrong.
Yes. So that would be a no. You think it's a no?
Correct. However, it doesn't mean that they won't continue to do it.
So let me create a scenario because I think I think your audience would love to know, and I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would you do if you were J.D. Vance, second in command, and Venezuela and their operatives came and stole Orange Man?
This podcast episode was brought to you by VP.net, the only VPN that can't spy on you.
I'm going to leave my ideas out of it. What do you think J.D. Vance and America would do if Venezuela came in and stole Orange Man?
There would be a very small population that would be extremely happy about it. And even the people that don't like Trump would think, what the fuck? You can't do that.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. That would be the most unifying thing the country has ever seen.
Bro.
Because we can fight each other all we want, but no one else allowed and just take our guy.
I know.
And I'm assuming that's how a lot of Venezuelans feel. I don't know that for sure. It's really hard to get information out of there.
But
like, there's no flights in, no flights out.
Let's make it obvious. Let's make it as close an analog as we possibly can. President Obama, second term, third year. He gets stolen. You're Joe Budden. What are you doing?
You're doing everything you can to either A, get him back, or B, destroy the country that did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, you and I severely dislike this Nigerian.
Yeah.
President Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
So, on principle, we'd be like, the fuck? Even though I hate this guy.
Yeah.
You can't just be coming in.
No.
Grabbing from our cookie jar.
No.
Stealing from Joe Budden. You know? Like, I think America would go into Venezuela and go blasting.
Scorched earth.
Absolutely. So I have to imagine, and here's my opinion, I have to imagine that Venezuelans on principle, the vast majority, 90% easy, are like, the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Did we just open up a PvP server? You just come into our server and fucking grab our king? Did we flag for PvP? What the fuck is going on? Like, you can't just grab our leader. Like, your first reaction was, oh man, what the fuck? We're going to war.
Yeah.
My first reaction was World of Warcraft, PvP. I was like, why the fuck did we just flag for PvP? Why the fuck are you grabbing this dude? Why are we, as America, have any right to go and steal another sovereign country's leader? That's so fucked up, bro.
That's crazy.
So fucked up.
It's crazy.
I could see so many like ex-military guys in America being like, bro, I'm ready to fucking roll.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they have like their contractor homies on
Sign
speed
me
dial.
up.
Yeah. Like, bro, dude, I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
Just give me in a frog suit and get me the right ammunition. I'm good. I'm golden, right?
And so we think that, I think that, I know that what my gut reaction was when all this happened. And our episode, if we had done it on Sunday, like we were planning on, would have been a very different episode than today.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are in Wednesday, only 4 days separated from the event.
Yeah.
And the reality is, nobody cares anymore.
I know. And we've seen all the theories.
It's over.
Did they go to steal the gold? Did they go to steal the silver bullion? Are they smelting it in Tennessee now? Did they actually go and steal a 300 million Bitcoin? We've seen all the theories, Matt, and guess what? Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody gives two fucks.
And I think this is the most concerning thing that we've experienced this year. We wanted all the Epstein files, and they gave us not all, but they gave us a huge chunk. And in those Epstein files, there may not be the smoking gun that we're all looking for, but it is a clear record of people doing very bad shit and crime.
Terrible things.
Nobody cares. 3 years ago, October 7th, they start this war with Israel and Palestine and Hamas. And in the beginning, we're like, oh no, they're blowing up like children and hospitals. And on the Israel side, like, no, that's not true. That's all fake. That's AI. And that's the reason. And that went, and finally, we know the truth.
Yeah.
They killed like 40, 50,000 people, maybe more.
60, more.
And over the dead bodies, they're going to build hotels and resorts.
Yes. Facts.
It's so fucked up.
Facts.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We could reveal and expose the truth. Nobody cares anymore.
So is that so?
This is where we are right now. Like, exposing truth no longer means anything.
And to hearken us back to last episode, because you brought this up, is that the meta plan, Matt? Is the meta plan is that we are so inundated with good, bad, AI, slop, who knows? We are inundated with so much information and data and content that you have to put censorship panopticon on top. You have to control inputs, outputs.
The top 2 or 3 videos that came out of Venezuela
were slop.
Right after it, of people celebrating and saying, "Oh, we want more." It was AI slop.
Yeah, it wasn't even good.
And people are using that as a premise of like why they believe what they believe, and then they find out it's AI, and nobody cares.
They don't change.
It's AI slop. They don't care that they watch the AI slop because they've already been convinced. The AI already convinced them. And someone said to me yesterday, the AI slop that you think is slop today, tomorrow will be crisp and perfect.
Yeah. Give it 5 years.
Tomorrow.
Dude,
you're not going to be able to distinguish. And the reality is people won't care because why? When it looks clearly fake, people still don't care.
People don't realize that it was only 2 years ago that we had that shitty video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. Only 2 years ago. You remember that? You remember the shitty AI video of Will Smith eating spaghetti? Will remembers. Now we have really good AI videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti.
Nobody cares.
And in another 2 years, because Will has seen the AI slop of Will, the evolution of Will eating a spaghetti, we will have entire movies of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it'll be amazing.
Nobody cares.
Nobody will give a fuck.
Nobody cares to distinguish between truth, reality, and fake.
So
there's no desire here.
Let me put a capstone on last episode's Your Theory, because I have been even more convinced that you are correct. Let me give it to our listeners today. In summary, Matt's theory is censorship must happen en masse across the entire globe for the good of everyone. Why? Because it is now impossible to know whether it's real, fake, manipulated, AI. It is for your own safety, and it is for the good that we do selective censorship, because nobody knows. That like that's where we're headed. Are we not?
I don't think censorship is good. I think censorship is inevitable.
Let me not put words in your mouth. Fair enough. It is an inevitability that censorship will become a requirement.
Yes.
Why? Because when I look at a video, I cannot tell whether it's real, fake, AI, manipulated, half-baked. Who knows? The answer is, I don't know. So you know what? I need to outsource my thinking and logic, Matt, to an algorithm and legislators, because they know what's best for me to consume.
It is inevitable. It is necessary. It also will be the fall of society. So it's both. We are in this new era that we cannot avoid because you don't know what's real. You have to protect from real and fake. But in doing so, you will install levers to remove the things you don't want out there.
Let me go even farther. You and I have just made the most significant case for digital ID because we don't know.
Correct.
What content creators are real or fake. And you have to check in with your digital ID to ensure that what you're consuming, number one, is from real humans. But number two, as a consumer, you have to check in to know that you're real as a consumer to it. So that is it. That is it. The case for digital ID, tracking in and checking in, and every time you submit a document, every time you submit a content, every time you submit a new Instagram reel, you have to check in for proof of humanity.
Yeah.
Bro.
We've talked about this proof of humanity for a year now.
I know.
Yeah.
But the pieces are coming together, Matt.
Yeah. It's necessary. It will happen. I don't necessarily want it to happen. The only way that it prevents from happening is that we have to uninvent AI.
We have to go to an analog world where literally human touch and human physicality is valued more than digital.
I wish AI was never invented.
Bro, I'm getting there, bro.
Because of it, all these things need to exist. I don't want it to exist, but it has to exist because otherwise society cannot function without the checks and balances. And the problem is people who install the checks and balances will be fucking bad people.
They're terrible people. Yeah, we talked about. Let me reiterate one thing. Yeah, we are so cooked, Matt. Like, let me reiterate one point that I brought up in a couple podcasts ago about these AI overlords and outsourcing all of our logic in AI will, just like you say, be our downfall because the ones who are coding this are terrible human beings with worldviews, mental models, and unfortunately, religious dogma that is baked into the code. We're seeing that AI is racist. We're seeing that AI is selective. We're seeing that AI is biased. We're seeing that AI is changing history. We're seeing all of this. And going back to your point, nobody cares.
And you can fight it all you want because you are moral or principled or you have a higher hope for humanity, which is amazing. But just because you fight it individually does not mean you're going to stop the machine. It is going to happen regardless of whether you want it or not. And it almost feels like I'm giving up, but that's not true. It's just we have to also be pragmatic and face the reality of which we live. We do not get to choose the era in which you are born into or which you survive.
Can you imagine a world, Matt, where for us to post this content, the Matt Kim podcast, in the future, we will have to submit a proof of humanity in order for us to push the button publish?
Or there will be selected pre-approved brands that will do their own monitoring because they are considered trusted networks and they can self-censor within their networks. So now you have to join one of them.
I see. So I understand your future. So what we in the future have done is we have been pre-selected and approved by Acme censorship group.
Yes.
So that they do all of the automation of our content because we pay them the service fee to ensure that they are the layer of proof of humanity for us. I get it. So Acme censorship group is the one that's going to be controlling our access points.
Well, it'll be Acme censorship group, Acme AI, Acme everything.
Understood.
And then you pay your tribute to Acme.
My monthly subscription fee.
Correct.
Yeah, because I don't actually own it.
The top of Acme is a king. He determines what his realm believes and thinks and what the guidelines are.
Oh, is it?
And you can live within that, and you can live within that structure. And for that, you pay your tribute.
Oh, I didn't know his name was Larry Ellison. Amazing.
Well, Larry Ellison will have his kingdom.
Oh, that's right. Peter Thiel will
Mark
have his own.
Zuckerberg has his kingdom.
Understood. I get it.
Elon Musk has his kingdom. Bill Gates has his kingdom. And we get to choose which kingdom we want to be part. In the beginning, you get to choose because it's new.
Yeah.
If you don't choose the right kingdom in the beginning, you're going to be left out without a kingdom, left to fend for yourself, and life is going to be more difficult.
Here's the fact of the matter. What Matt just described is 99% of every dystopian movie.
Yeah.
If you look at the meta, you're like, wait, who's fighting again? It's corporations fighting each other.
Correct.
Tron. It's not governments. It's not Syria versus America. It's not Japan versus Russia. It's corporations always fighting other corporations in these dystopian futures. So what you're saying is totally true because Elon's going to own America Inc. plus Greenland, right? Right. Peter Thiel will own European nations, right? And they're going to go to war with each other. You just chose poorly because you chose the wrong side, right? You chose the wrong corporation.
We're starting to see that, like countries and borders actually don't mean anything.
Oh, it's
right.
Yeah, corporations is what determines everything.
No one cares. America went
Corporate
after
ownership.
Venezuela. That's not big news.
Right. It's corporate ownership.
But if Apple went after like NVIDIA and they fought, this would be all everyone cares about.
Ooh,
because those are bigger.
You actually just dug up an old Reddit post. I'm going to give it to you now. I'm sure someone can find it. It is private company influence as a game of Risk. So think about this. Where's Apple popular? Well, if you do like a heat map, you can see where Apple's popular. That is their domain.
United States.
Right? United States, right? In European countries, not so much China, where we see Huawei, right? Heat map. It's all over Asia, right? That is real power. Now, if you think about the future of corporations fighting corporations, that's exactly it. right? Apple is not in, I'm making this up, Apple's not in India. The heat map says they're blank. Right? India is realizing that they can use all their silicon finally and all of their chip technology, and they can rise against Apple. Well, in the future, Apple's going to go to war buying privateer armies to go against India because India is starting to rise up against their supply chain. Right? This is the future, Matt. You're saying, am I not wrong?
No, you're right. And I think the lack of acknowledging sovereign borders over this last weekend shows that we are clearly there.
Bro, so let me ask you this. Is President Trump kidnapping, because it's the right word, right? Kidnapping a president of another sovereign nation, is that at the behest and the benefit of the American people? Or is Trump acting at the behest and benefit of corporations? What do you think?
I think it's just to trigger this new era that we're in. It doesn't actually matter. Because if they wanted people to really not like Maduro, then they would have had him look sloppy.
Well, they could do smear campaigns on CNN.
But they deliberately put his pictures out there in a light that actually makes him likable.
Well, he kind of looked like Dr.
He had the tech suit on, he's got the glasses, and he does a wardrobe training, he's got a funny hat.
Yeah.
And then
he looked like Dr. Disrespect.
All these accounts all these accounts are making memes of Maduro dancing and being a DJ, and
he's taking over JD Vance's memes right now.
And Maduro as a person somehow became even likable. In the left and the right is kind of popular.
He's kind of becoming likable.
I thought he was the worst guy ever, so bad that we have to go get him.
Yeah,
but now the same machine that wanted to tell us that going to Venezuela is okay, is the same machine that's telling us, well, but you should like him. So it's like counter narrative to one another.
That's the point.
They don't care. They just want to say we did it, and you guys are okay with we did it. That was the whole point.
Yes, in some way, you could say that the shotgun of media all over the place, support, non-support, right? Suddenly he's shaken. He's more popular than JD Vance memes, dancing, doing breakdancing, like handing out ice cream, right? Maduro, the good guy, right? No bad guy, Maduro. Like we've seen, like these things are, and so that dissonance of like, wait, I've seen AI slop. I've seen people on the ground supposedly that are happy. I've seen people on the ground supposedly unhappy. I've seen a lot of retarded Americans think they know, and on their streams tell us what they think they know. And now like the AI slop is telling me that he's a good guy. Like the point is you are so confused at what reality actually is that at this point, Matt, you know what I'd like? I'd like someone more powerful than me to filter all of this. Because it's hurting my brain to try to figure out what's real or not, Matt. You know what I need, Matt? I need a government, or I need an oligarch to create a platform that filters this out so that I don't have to wonder if it's fake or real.
I don't know what's real, and I actually don't care. That's what's being normalized. I don't care. Doesn't matter what's true. It doesn't matter what's true. How do I feel at the moment? Am I getting the serotonin and the dopamine hit that I'm looking for? And that's all that matters.
Oh, so I'm taking it too far. I'm the internet Netsian who cares for the truth. And so I require censorship and selective filtering. You have been so black-pilled that you're like, I don't give a fuck. You know what? I got my jollies on and I got half a boner and it felt good.
No. Nobody cares.
Moving on.
Even we
half
don't
a boner,
care.
Half a boner.
No one watching us cares because, again, like I'm walking through the halls of Congress and every door in Congress is an Israeli flag. And that, to me, the first time I saw it was like, this is wild.
We're occupied.
How is it possible?
We're taking over.
And they're doing children's tours and everyone's looking, oh, that's Congress person's house. This Congress this person's house. That's Congress this person's house. And every door has an Israeli flag and no one questions it. And you can take pictures of it, you can take video of it, you can show it to the whole world and say something's wrong with this situation. And you know what? Nothing happens.
Because everybody's working against the cognitive dissonance. You and I grew up in an age, and children even today grow up in an age where there are two children's games that we all played. It's called King of the Hill and Capture the Flag. Guess what? In King of the Hill and Capture the Flag, if the enemy's flag is in your base, you're cucked. You are owned. You have been commandeered. You have lost, sir. The opponent's flag is in your base. Did we both not grow? Did you grow up playing capture the flag and King of the Hill? Yeah. When the flag of the opposing team is in your base, you lost. So when you tell me that you walk the halls of Congress, Senate, and all we see are not American flags.
Well, they're there too. Half. You have both.
Don't care, Sar.
You have both.
Allow me the point.
You have both.
You have other nations' flags. You are cucked.
If it was any other country, people would be outraged.
Because
you know how pissed off people get?
Imagine if it was. Could you imagine? Let's be one of the most aggressive flags on the entire planet is the Japanese flag. Like it is just like land of the rising sun. Wah, you done got fucked, right? It's like on the ship. Can you imagine walking the halls of Congress and all you see is the Japanese flag? People be like, the fuck is going on here? Fuck is going, like, do the Japanese have that much power? What is Sony doing? Right? What is Toshiba doing?
Well, okay, this is a cognitive dissonance, right? You have Republican congressmen who are like, look at Ilhan Omar in Minnesota giving a speech in Somali. And on their door is another country's flag. It's like, do you not see the fucking same shit? It's the same. But they're like, oh, that's bad. And I agree. She shouldn't do that. Do you know what? You shouldn't do that either. And I thought most of the people on the right, especially MAGA on the Trump sword, they agreed with that. They agreed with that. Hey, we don't want to go to war. Hey, like, let's focus on things within America and the American borders. Like, this is what everyone agreed upon. Trump literally put out a thing that says the Agenda 47. 47 things that he wants to do once elected. Take over other countries, not on that list. But now everyone's like, oh, yeah, no, this is what we voted for. I'm like, it is? And I realized it is what they voted for.
Come again?
They did not want Trump to fix America. They liked the idea that possibly Trump can lead into the next empire. That is what they wanted. And that's what they're getting. And they're very happy.
So Matt's at the very meta level today, and I can join you there, Matt. I can join you there at the meta level.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, actually. Because it is what it is. And if we're going to the era, maybe we need to be there.
Well, let me use your word back at you, which would be, it is inevitable.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much, just take a stock. If you're over 30 years old, that means you have enough of a brain to realize how much technology in the world has changed over the last 30, 40 years. It's fucking tremendous. Like the amount of technological progress from the 80s till today is unfathomable to any other generation previous. So why does that context matter? You don't need to go back far, just a couple hundreds of years, to realize how shitty the world was in terms of technology, access, healthcare, right? Like equality, like across the board. Such a shitty world. And we have gone through these cycles where we have seen the rise and fall of nations, and the cycles are real. And we are on the downward slope, we would agree, because you're kind of a little bit more black-pilled in all of this. But here's where I want to bring
in the black-pilled one?
Well, let me bring in the meta here, because it's going to get even more black-pilled. History repeats itself, and what we've seen through history is that nations build nations. They nation build. We've seen in history, not so long ago, hundreds of years, clear evidence of Chinese imperialism, American imperialism, European imperialism, ad infinitum, go down the list. So for us to be so naive, here's the meta. I'm bringing it home. For us to be so naive, Matt, to assume that China, America, and all these other countries aren't currently nation building actively today, which means, what does that mean, Peter? It means tactically they are invading, they are usurping, They are taking over. They are weeding out. They are selecting. They are deciding strategy and tactics every single day against other countries. So when people are so naive in America, like, we're not being invaded. Yes, we are. We are being invaded by more than just China. We are being invaded by a multiplicity of countries right now, not only physically, but digitally, from sanctions, from legislation, from trade. So let me get to my final point. Is it odd for us to believe that what Trump has done here, and I'm siding with you now, to steal another nation's leader is not off the playing table? Of course it is. We're nation building, baby. We're nation building.
It is the era in which
maybe what Trump is doing is saying, guys, wake up.
That's where we are.
Wake up. We've been invaded by Somalians. We've been invaded by Haitians. We've been invaded by Chinese. We've been invaded by Indians. We've been invaded by Mexicans. We've been invaded by brown people of all brown skins. You know what it's time to do? It's time to go rob a brother. It's time to go robbing ourselves. Right? Like, am I for this? No.
Yeah.
But I am not naive enough to think, you know what, there are other nations actively trying to destroy our nation currently today. True? Okay, so welcome to the show. And maybe Trump's just making it plain. Maybe he's just saying, you know what? Fuck it. Let me rip off the Band-Aid. Everyone's invading us, trying to be real slick about it, you know. Let's not do the slick thing. Let's just rip people out.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Let's just fucking do it. Full send.
Yeah, full send. No pretext. Let's just go. And again, it's not something I want.
No.
It's what's happening. There's nothing we can do or say or change in the way we cognitively think to alter or maneuver around that. It is what it is.
So let me ask you this. Is it better for America to play defense or offense? Because this is an offensive move.
Well,
this is not defense.
I think
this is like, holy shit, we just done stole your leader. What are you going to do now?
I think America has enough resources, with people, resources, energy, everything within the borders of the United States, where if we just completely shut off the borders, whoever's here is here, whoever's out is out, cut it all off, the country and the nation would be just fine.
Oh, really?
You don't actually need anybody.
Wait. Are you saying the $30 billion a day to Israel is something we don't need to do?
No in, no out, shut it off today, tomorrow, boom, border shut, no in or out. Actually, society would survive just fine. If anything, I think it would be better.
What about the $12 billion to Ukraine daily?
But we've made clearly a choice that is not the goal of this administration or the goal of this era, to shut it off from the rest of the world. Rather, let's just take over as much of the world as we can. So if that's where we're going, we just have to adapt and adjust the way we view the world and we think. Because we've been operating under the pretense that if we complain, if we expose truth, if we do these things, that we can have change. But the reality is public opinion doesn't matter anymore. Public opinion is only there for compliance. It's not for change.
So what you're saying is our voices don't change reality.
No.
Matthew, I disagree.
We are it can change your individual perception of reality. But we were once what we thought were in a place where our voices can matter, where things we say or want as a population do matter. We've seen clearly over the last year that, people want the Epstein list. People get a part of it. It doesn't matter. It's just public opinion for compliance. And the compliance is, yeah, we did it. So what? And everyone said nothing.
It's a good thing that the Lord my God created me to be a positive creature by nature. So I always generally look at the positive sides of things and then allow my logical brain to fully destroy that notion. But in this case, I'll stay on the positive side of things. The missing factor, variable to your equation, is size. That's it. Do our voices matter at the scale and size now? Then of course it doesn't matter, Matt. There's not enough Jake Fight Back podcasts. right? There's not enough Nick Fuentes. There's not enough Matt Kim podcasts out there. But could our voices matter if we order of magnituded us by 10x?
No.
You don't think that an order of magnitude, 10x more Matt Kim's Jake Shield Fight Back podcasts were out there, that it wouldn't move the needle?
They wanted the country to think about Somalia. So they got one YouTuber, had him go to Somalia, make a 15-minute YouTube video.
You mean Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Also known as Somaliland? Shit.
Make one 15-minute video on Minnesota, and they were able to capture the entire country. That's with one guy. They can do that with one person. We can gather 100 or 1,000. We can't make the impact of that one person if they choose that one person. Which is, I mean, I'm not trying to say give up. What I'm saying is we need to reframe our brains and how the world is now operating.
You're not wrong. Based on this one anecdote of fresh data, America was completely pwned by this guy.
We watched the most interesting and doesn't make sense assassination live on TV.
In 4K.
From every single angle. And the explanation that they gave us clearly does not make any sense. And you have the biggest podcasters in the world, the biggest accounts in the world, billions and billions of views going, dude, something's wrong. And do you know what they said? Eat a dick. This is a story. And do you know what happened? Nothing.
Matt, unfortunately...
And I don't want that to be true, but if once we accept that, then we can figure out, okay, then what are we supposed to do now?
So let me take the positive spin on it. So the methods and means that have been deployed in past have been not effective.
No.
So we need to change the mechanism.
Correct.
We need to change the strategy.
Yes.
Did you see, just as a small anecdote, did you see Candace revealing the video footage of behind Charlie when he was shot?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's not good. No blood. No, there is no way. The answer is there's no way he could have been shot if at moment of impact when he is and there's blood, you could see the blood coming out of his, nothing else. It's bro. Anyway, the point is, the slop that they're feeding us ain't real, Jackson. It's not working.
No.
Right? The check ain't clearing.
No. Right? We don't even believe it. But again, public opinion is not for change. Public opinion is just for compliance.
So your argument against my argument is that my solution to your issue is scale. I say, there's just not enough people who've been black. I don't want to go that far. There's not enough people who've woken up to the realities of the Matrix. And there's not enough of them podcasting, and letting their voices be heard. You counter my argument by saying it still won't matter.
Dude, they killed 60,000 people in their homes, and they're going to build luxury resorts on top, and nothing happened. And everyone knows that to be true.
Yeah, we have seen that streamed in 4K as
That
well.
is a fact throughout the entire collective conscious of the world.
We actually, let me make it plain. We have more data, more video of Palestine and these young creatures being destroyed than Charlie Kirk. So the evidence is clear. They're doing bad stuff over there.
2 years ago, they're like, oh no, that's AI. And they try to deflect and pretend like it wasn't and speak around it and rationalize around it. Now they're like, yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. They just released a new one just the other day. I saw them bombing some kids that were, it's 3 girls that were playing outside.
Yeah. And they're like, so what? We did it.
So what?
So what?
Yeah. During New Year's, there are videos of them shooting just rounds randomly into our New Year's. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Exposed. So what?
Yeah. Even the emergency emoji and exposed or alert or breaking, nobody cares. You know they should do? They should just use a banana instead now. Because whenever I see alert or breaking, I'm just like, is this Dom Lucre? Stop it. Stop it, Dom. Stop it. You're a Fed.
I think the future, the new shift from where we were to where we are now. Because again, We are in a different world than we were in 1 year ago. Full stop.
Oh, it's like a different timeline, bro.
AI is definitely here to stay. It is replacing your jobs. It is replacing most people's what they do. You will most likely not be necessary in 5 years. And if you don't figure out how to adjust to the new system in which the world operates, you're left behind.
Yes.
There's no time to sit around and go, damn, we're going to expose them. We need to like actually as a community, like make this cognitive switch. Otherwise, we're going to be also left behind.
Are we?
And I feel like because we know this, we're responsible for our audience to like let them know, like, dude, you need change.
Wake up.
We need to wake up to the reality of where we actually are.
So we're not one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. We're like the harbingers of the message of the apocalypse.
Yeah, I think the future, like previously, the power was in movements.
Mm-hmm.
People gather for a common cause,
Mm-hmm.
and they try to join together in messaging and try to force change. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But that was the meta for the last era, movements. The meta for the next era, which we are in, is networks.
Mm.
It's how do you combine and create the systems that are being built no matter what. There's nothing we can do to stop them. The only opportunity actually is to create networks and parallel systems.
Because that creates anti-fragility. And it doesn't create silos, which can be taken out.
Correct.
Networks can support each other.
Yes.
Decentralized networks are even far superior.
Correct.
I understand where you're going, Matt. So here's a question. Because we've both agreed that after 3 days of the events that occurred of a stealing of a president of a not insignificant country, by the way.
Country we've all heard of before. It's not some random country.
It's going to be
Colombia
next.
Nobody knows.
I'm making the call. It's going to be Colombia next.
Greenland.
Apparently, it's on Polymarket. So the guy who's like making all the bets on who's like all these terrorists,
which is also a psyop, but yeah,
which is his strike rate is 100% right now. Yeah. He's like making all the calls. He's like, this is what. Anyway, scary shit, dude. When there's free money on the table and you have insider knowledge, come on, bro. You have no morals anyway.
Like the guy who placed the big bet right before they attack Venezuela that they're going to attack Venezuela. That's so crazy.
It's all on Polymarket. Nobody cares.
Like someone just randomly said, I'm going to put $500 million on this bet.
There's one account that I saw the other day that he's made bets on all of the terrorist attacks. And
you can expose it all you want. Nothing changed.
Nobody cares. It's like, wait. How did you know about the?
Yeah. It was just a headline.
How did you know about January? How the fuck, dude? Intelligence, bro.
You're watching your TikTok, you're watching Instagram, and you watch something and it gets you really mad, and you flip one time, and it's like a funny cat video. Like, okay, and you're done.
Okay, so let me get to the point. Let me get to my question. We have clearly shown that the entire America can get pwned of the Somali psyop slop. And then, just after, right as the wave of interest starts dying down, we have Maduro. And then 3 days pass again. Nobody cares.
Nobody.
So here's my question. What do you think is going to be the outcome of us stealing Maduro? Because here's a fact that I believe I know, is that, let's just say, the court that is going to surround him is filled with, let's just say, America's most trusted ally. So do you think Maduro is going to get a fair case, a fair hearing, do you think?
I think he doesn't go back to Venezuela, that he will give up a lot of the information he has, the connections, how it works, his networks. They will kind of say he's in jail, but he'll kind of go off into the sunset, kind of like an Epstein did, kind of like whoever else you may say, just kind of disappears.
Kind of like Hitler in Argentina.
Like in Argentina. And then all of a sudden, we are like, okay, what's going on in Venezuela? Well, now we have a strategic location within Venezuela because you need one there. You need one in Greenland. You need one in all over the world, because in order to create your network of AI data centers and AI machine control over the entire world, you need strategic locations that have energy to support themselves. It's necessary. If their goal is to envelope as much of the world as they can under their system, which again, If you are an emperor, it's the right move to make, by the way.
If you're nation building?
If you're nation building and you're playing global risk, if I was playing global risk and I was Trump and I thought my job was to take over the world, these are strategic moves that you make. You have to do it. I want him to do it? No. Do I think we should shut the border and just like live our lives? Yes. But this is what he's doing. He's playing global risk.
But you don't think at Trump's level. You don't think as a nation builder, Matt, and neither do I. That is our fallacy. That is our flaw. Our flaw is that let me take this. We don't have enough national pride to take it upon our shoulders, to take America on our shoulders and say, I will, for thee, America, take over other countries. You guys don't have enough pride. You think you're America first, Fuentes? Fuck off. I'm stealing presidents. Am I wrong?
No lies detected.
Exactly. Who's doing more Fuentes for America? Trump right now.
Yeah.
Because Fuentes, you're riling up America to be America first. Who's actually putting the rubber on the road? Trump is stealing presidents. Like, brother, that is some gangster shit. I ain't not gonna lie. Like, the more that I think about it, that's some gangsta ass shit, bro. Yeah. Like, the Black Op, our best SEALs or whatever who did it. Like, if you think about it, well fucking done. Like, no casualties, blowing up shit, 24 hours he's in New York.
Yep.
That's like Batman shit. So, kind of Trump is more America first right now than maybe even Fuentes. Oof.
And to the Venezuelans who
sorry too bad?
Yeah, who think that there's an opportunity for this to be a good thing.
The fuck?
The reality is that when the United States shows up, it doesn't end well for you. That's just how it is.
Yeah. And we've seen theories of who's going to replace them.
It doesn't matter who they replace it with. At the end of the day, we have cities and areas within this country that are just as bad as the bad places you think are bad in your country.
Bro, yes.
We're willing to leave it that way, and we will forever leave it that way.
Not wrong.
We will forever keep certain parts of the United States poor, under crime, and very underdeveloped. They will remain that way because we actually don't care that much. If we're not willing to help our own, how do you think it's going to happen when it becomes annoying and expensive to take care of you?
No.
That's just the reality of what it is. And I know that people are hopeful. America's here.
Brutality.
America's here. They're going to help us. It's not true.
You hurt my feelings, man.
And could it be a good thing that Maduro was removed? Yes. Fine. You're allowed to believe that. And maybe it is true. But when America shows up with the American gun, it doesn't actually end well.
Dang, man. Are you?
It could actually be good for America.
Are you nailing?
It's not going to be good for you.
Are you nailing America's history to the wall and saying, look at this historical record? Because, like, our historical record, Matt, ain't that good.
And if you're American, this actually could possibly work out in your favor.
Tell me how Afghanistan over 20 years, $16 trillion. Like, what the fuck? How did that benefit my dinner table, bro?
Well, again, we're in a new era.
Oh.
We are officially an unapologetic nation building, empire building era. And if you're playing global risk, taking more land, usually a good thing. You fall too far behind, you actually can't catch up. That's how the game works.
Man. So let me just capstone this idea then. So are you telling me in 2026, Matt, that we are moving into the most gangster era of American diplomacy? Oh, man. Can we secede California and trade them for Japan? Because I like the Japanese culture. They're about the same size. Can we just swap them?
No.
Fuck. Would you love Japan instead of California?
I think Japan...
You can have Hollywood, man. You can have all the pedophiles.
I think Japan and Asia is going to be really interesting to watch in the next few years.
Well, yeah.
Because,
dude,
as we
their money system is fucked.
Yeah. And China's right there. They're not going to let America come any deeper.
No, bro, no.
And there is clearly a AI arms race going on. They are getting very much far ahead. We are making up with that by going after more land and more resources. Because again, playing global risk. And they're going to take more and more control of Eastern Asia, probably remove a lot of, it's like China, you get out of South America. America, you get out of East Asia. America gets the Americas. The United States gets North America, South America, Canada, whatever. Russia, you get Europe. China, you get the rest of Asia. And we all set up base. And then we'll see where we're at.
Well, China also gets Africa. Man, I'll tell you. Like,
the fight will be for Africa. Because they have all those resources.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to want it.
Yeah.
And I think that's, if we're talking about like the final chapter of Game of Thrones, I actually think it ends there.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's what everyone wants and no one's going to want to just arbitrarily give up.
Man,
it's not in the Asia territory. It's not in the Americas territory. It's technically not in the Russia, European territory. It's its own thing. And everyone's going to want it. And Africa as a continent is not organized to do their own thing. They're all going to fight for it.
Yeah.
Global risk.
It is global risk. And I appreciate that you and I are willing to see it for what it is. Let me give you my final thought on Maduro. We should not be stealing other people's presidents.
No.
Like, what a gangster move. That's all I'm going to say. What a gangster move. And what a time for us to, like, we didn't just off him because we've done that before, right? We've gone and killed Saddam, right? We've gone and, well, he was tried. We've gone and killed, whatever, Afghanistan guy. Like, we've done the thing.
Killed Gaddafi.
We killed Gaddafi, right? He came, he saw he died, is what Clinton said. We've done that. But to like fly up, roll up, steal him, and bring him to New York City, that's some gangster shit.
I really want to go out and get one of those Nike tech suits. I tried to get one.
Bro.
They're sold out. Hopefully, maybe I'll go find one on StockX, rock it next week for the show. See you guys next week. This podcast episode was brought to you by VP.net, the only VPN that can't spy on you.